Hey everybody, Dr. Amir Rashidian back with another short video to just kind of answer a question that I hear about all the time. The question is this: why did I get bone spurs? And there's an answer to it, believe it or not. There's always a reason. The body, whatever the body does, there's a reason for it. There's a cause and there's an outcome. So the cause could be trauma, and it could be repetitive micro trauma. It could be poor posture, which would lead to repetitive micro trauma. But mainly it's trauma, and it can be severe trauma, or it can be a couple of incidents of smaller trauma. But typically trauma, something causes a misalignment in your vertebrae, and that leads to bone spur formation. So first, let me show you what it looks like, right? So this is one of our patients, and hopefully you can see it well. This is a neck. You can tell these are teeth, and this is the jaw, and this is the back of the head. These blocks are the bones, and the dark space between them are where the discs go. So the bones need to be fairly square, and they need to have rounded corners, nothing sharp and pointy. Now on this person, you see where there's the arrow, there's a flattening of the corner there, so that corner is not rounded, it's kind of flattened. That's because of trauma. At some point, this person was in some type of a car accident, a whiplash motion, and this bone collided with that one and it crushed the corner of that. So that's how you can tell there's been trauma. Now this trauma couldn't have been decades ago because there would be bone spurs there now. This was probably a few years ago, definitely not very recent, because the white line around it, you can see the cortex around it, so it's not a new fracture. Now let me show you somebody's neck that has bone spurs. Remember, bones are square shaped, rounded corners. Now take a look at this one. This is a vertebra. Do you see how the front of it comes down? It's like a hook. It's hooking down almost like a bird's beak. Again, right here. You see how it's growing downward right here. These two are growing together. Again, like a bird's beak coming together. And what they want to do is they want to fuse. Look at how narrow that disc is between those two bones. This is spondylosis. This is spinal degeneration. It's arthritis in the advanced stages. So why do we get bone spurs? Well, think about this. Bones line up on top of each other the way they're supposed to. Take a look. This is a model of that. And when one of the bones gets misaligned, the ligaments that connect that one to the one below and above it, those start to tug on the corner of that. So if these bones are supposed to be like this and one of them is turned this way, all of a sudden ligaments are pulling on the corners, on the edges of that bone. That pulling causes edema. It's called marrow edema inside the bone. That swelling can only be seen on an MRI, not on an X-ray. In fact, bone spurs can't be seen on X-ray unless they've been there 15 years. It takes a long time for those bone spurs to actually calcify and become solid enough to stop the rays from going through and create an image on the film or on the screen. So when these bones are misaligned, ligament starts to tug, and 5 out of 9 ligaments have to be damaged for a bone to truly get misaligned. Those ligaments tug, and as they pull, year after year after year, pulling on that bone starts to grow in the direction of stress. That's what happens. Another reason bone spurs happen is because of lack of mobility. When a bone gets misaligned, it gets locked in the wrong place. If a bone is not moving, it starts to grow together. Think about this: when someone breaks a bone, you immobilize it. When you immobilize it, bones grow together and fuse. They mend, they repair. But if I put my elbow in a cast, and let's say this is a healthy elbow and there's nothing wrong with it, but I take that healthy elbow and put it in a cast, and I leave it in a cast for a year, or for 1 year I never move it, I hold it still. When you take that cast off, there won't be an elbow joint there. It will grow together and fuse. Bone spurs come together, it'll be one solid bone. When I take the cast off, if you take an X-ray, this will be one L-shaped bone. It won't be a joint. That's why we get bone spurs. That's why it's important to have adjustments to unlock, mobilize, realign, and align the bones to make sure they're not only lined up properly so there's no ligamentous tugging, but also so that they're moving, because movement and motion is life. Life is motion. Anything that's motionless cannot live properly. Hope that helps. Hope it answers your question why you got bone spurs.